Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live every weekday, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., discussing current events from a legal perspective and also answering your questions in the chat. I am going to be answering your questions in the chat. I can say, hey, if you're out there, you want some legal help, you hop into the chat, you ask me. You dial 866-NAPOLIN to find me directly. My name's Attorney Alexander Napolin. Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live. I call myself attorney at large because I'm not really acting as an attorney when I'm on here. I'm really just entertaining you. I'm helping you understand current events from a legal perspective. And then if you have questions, you can ask me those questions. Be smart. Share at your own risk. If you are identifiable, then later, if you're involved in a lawsuit or something else, and you've been discussing the specific issues that are involved in that lawsuit, that's discoverable. So always speak to an attorney in private. So I'm Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live. It's entertainment only. It's not legal advice, but we are discussing current events from a legal perspective, and we are answering your questions in the chat. So today we are discussing the Hyundai and Kia thefts across the country because of the Kia and Hyundai ignitions not having, this immobilizer, they call it. Let's go down here. It's called an immobilizer, an ignition immobilizer, something that basically requires the computer to detect a key. I mean, these cars that we're talking about, these Kias and Hondas, they have just the regular mechanical keys. You pop off the thing, you jam something up in there, and boom, you turn that puppy on. And this was exploited heavily. Now Kia's being sued, and all they say, well, we met the standard. Okay. Well, if you're out there and you own a Kia between 2011 and 2021, or you own a Hyundai between 2015 and 2021, you only have a mechanical key, you're susceptible to the Kia boys TikTok theft, which is basically someone's going to decide, oh, I want to steal this guy's car, so I'm going to go ahead and steal it just because I can, just because the Kia boys said I could. Okay. In August, a group of 4 children between the ages of 14 and 17, they went in and they stole a 2021 Kia Forte from a rental lot because the Kia boys told them to. So, keeping my streams open, we have little things, that could come up, and I could just say, oh, Alex will be back at 4 o'clock, something like that, so that if anybody comes into the chat now, they can understand that they can ask a question, maybe come back later. Check out in my description below. Follow the links, So it still says the title is Bird Scooters from yesterday or from Friday, California, and then even here it says California root fire, threaten homes. I'm wondering, are we updated? We are updated. Bird suitors sued? Oh yeah, I put tips are appreciated. So if you're on Twitch, head over to my about section. Give me a tip. Oh, yeah, see? It sees that I'm on here. Cool. There's my live. Okay. Watch now. Kia thefts up 1,300%. Spark lawsuit for manufacturer defect. I'm watching it. I'm a lawyer. Come into the chat. We'll talk about your rights. Okay, there's a delay there. Not much. Okay, let's turn that off so we're not getting any feedback. Okay, so we are streaming to YouTube. We're streaming to Twitch. If you're in Twitch, I'm a California attorney. Come into my channel. Let's talk about a current event. You ask me questions in the chat. I'm going to give you the current event from my legal perspective. This is something that, it's entertainment. It's not lawyer advice. It's not legal advice. You can only get legal advice by seeking representation from an attorney, from giving your specific facts and circumstances to the lawyer and having that lawyer give you the feedback that that you need. So it's just entertainment here. If you're watching my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. I'm live every day at 4 p.m. I'm live every day at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. weekdays, discussing current events from a legal perspective and taking your questions in the chat. So if you're interested in learning more about the law from current event perspective, you want to be entertained, and you want your questions answered, come on into the chat daily. I'm live at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. I'm a little late today because it's Labor Day, and I'm going to be recording for my Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer live stream podcast, which we go over all the workers' compensation stuff in California. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description below. Actually, I'll just go ahead and type that in. If you're watching and you are interested in learning more about your rights, go ahead and type this into the description, into your search bar. Go over to here and type in the Workers' live stream. See if we can find it in the videos. See if there's anything. Doesn't even come up. Some of me in there. You probably really have to go to Google to do it. Mostly live. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to go to google.com. I love Chrome, but I can't use it for this because when you put incognito window, it doesn't show it when you're casting it through. So we'll be filming this. Whether or not you need a lawyer for a work injury, I don't know why it's in a different language. It often is in different languages. Weird. If you know what language this is, just let me know. See what it says at the bottom. Okay. If you're out there, I will be back at 4 p.m. My name is Alexander Napolin. Alexander Napolin, attorney at large, goes live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. discussing current events from a legal perspective, answering your questions in the chat. I have my chat up. Go ahead and give me a question if you have it. Do I think 3M will go bankrupt? Yes. Yes, I do think 3M will go bankrupt. I do, because they're going to have to spin off. I guess they're going to spin off part of their I think they're going to have to spin off part of their business just to get rid of I should know the answer to that question. Oh, this is Miller and Zoyce. Okay, so they put out a little advertorial. So they're trying to get business here. Okay, they say on September 2nd, just days after the bankruptcy court denied 3M's motion to extend the automatic stay and effectively halt the 3M earplugs litigation, multi-district litigation, that's what it stands for, MDL Judge Casey Rogers responded by issuing a new order on Tuesday requiring 3M to take part in another settlement mediation. Judge Rogers forced 3M to take part in a settlement mediation, blah, 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 blah. I guess I haven't been following this litigation very closely. I have some clients who were in the military who I've referred out for these types of lawsuits. We have a ruling. 3M loses. Again, the bankruptcy effort failed. Justice triumphs. This time, Judge Graham ruled that Arrow's bankruptcy should have no ruling on the earplugs lawsuit. Okay. Okay, so it looks like on September 1st, 3M noted, let's see. Oh, man. 3M noted its appeal of the bankruptcy ruling on Monday. Procedurally, 3M's appeal will either go to the U.S. District Court for Indiana or the Bankruptcy Appellate Panel. I do not think even 3M's lawyers think it has much of a chance of success. Okay, so Alex Rodriguez, thank you for asking that question. I don't know if you're still out there. It's kind of off the cuff. I've got to get better at this, but yeah, it looks like, according to this attorney's office, who's been actively updating their 3M blog, blotter, says that it looks like the 3M bankruptcy has failed. Now that the bankruptcy play has failed, Judge Rogers is pushing both sides to go right back to the settlement table all over again. Plaintiffs have always wanted to settle these lawsuits. Now 3M might have a greater interest. Okay, so basically, this happens a lot in American jurisprudence. Everybody runs to bankruptcy. So it's like Johnson & Johnson, when they had the talc powder, they spin off the talc powder to another, LLC, and then they just say, well, that division's bankrupt, and we're fine, and we're profitable over here. That's what a lot of people do personally. They have businesses, and they just bankrupt out of something, and then they can bankrupt out of that business, and they have their other businesses. Whether or not this should happen, I mean, look, if you're facing catastrophic liability, I think it would probably be legal malpractice not to pursue the bankruptcy. So if you're like a lawyer and you're the lawyer for 3M, and 3M's asking, well, what can we legally do to limit our exposure to ourselves? What should we do, lawyer? The lawyer says, well, I know about this bankruptcy possibility. We could go bankrupt, and we could see if that works, see if we can do that. But anyway, so yeah, it looks like the 3M, and what they do with the settlement is the multi-district litigation judge is just going to facilitate that the parties come to some type of settlement agreement where they can, where 3M can stay alive financially, but also pay out as much as possible to these U.S. soldiers. So I think that answers your questions. Thank you, Alex, for asking it. Do you have any other questions? You're still out there? Okay, so our lawyers are handling 3M earplug lawsuits in all 50 states. So Miller and Zoyce, you can go up and give them a call. I have no financial interest with Miller and Zoyce. I just pulled them up online. I typed in some stuff to Google, and they came up as number one. So I guess that they should get the business. So yeah, the 3M combats arms earplug lawsuits. Thousands of veterans and current military service members may be entitled to receive financial compensation in the $3 million 3M earplug lawsuit for hearing loss and tinnitus caused by defective earplugs. So basically, like, these soldiers were given earplugs, and the earplugs had a little leak in them. So when the soldiers were shooting on the shooting range, they were doing practice, they were in combat, whatever it is, they fired weapons. These weapons were, creating loud sounds, and the earplugs did not adequately protect against those loud sounds. So in this situation, 3M's being sued by all these former and active service members who wore the 3M earplugs, and they're saying, hey, I have tinnitus now, I have hearing loss. Okay, so I can't hear things, or I hear a ringing in my ear. That's what tinnitus is from these defective earplugs. And they tried to go bankrupt. They tried to tell the bankruptcy judge, hey, these lawsuits are just so big and so catastrophic against us that we're going to need to get reorganized in bankruptcy in order to pay the claims. That would basically lessen the amount, come up with some type of structure to pay these claims. And the bankruptcy judge said, no, you don't qualify. So therefore, you must go back to the settlement table all over again. And you're facing enormous external pressure from investors and financial analysts who are telling them that they have no choice but to capitulate by dropping all the legal gamesmanship and offer reasonable settlement amounts to veterans who have really suffered from these defective earplugs. Okay, so now that the bankruptcy has failed, 3M has intense pressure to settle these claims. Enormous pressure, because they can't reorganize in bankruptcy. They're facing jury trials, litigation, multi-district litigation. There's service members all across the country. And I think that helps answer your question. I don't know if you're still watching, Alex, but I really appreciate it if you hit that notification bell so you can catch me at 4 o'clock today. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to get some lunch. Then we're meeting up to record the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer podcast, which we go over topics for injured workers so that they can find this information online and it can really help them out. But remember, it's not legal advice. It's entertainment only.